Hello, Ectosage here on the Sage channel, and today, as is the case most times when there is an update, I find myself at a menu screen. Now, that's because if we go into the edit world settings of a new world and go into mods, you'll now see that at the very top here of the left screen, there are a bunch of different ways to sort through it. So you can sort through mod packs, so you have a bunch of different items, scripts, so you can plug those into your special systems, production. Not quite sure what that one actually is. It looks like it's pretty much the same as the scripts right now, if it's even changing. Respawn ships, of course, being the ships you automatically respawn in. Animations, characters, skyboxes, and just plain blocks, as well as other, which I think probably has most everything. And then if you prefer to just show certain different categories at the same time, you can click that, and this is currently apparently what others showing. So we can say, hey, we'd like blocks, no skyboxes though, characters, no animations, no production, no scripts, but we'd also like just full-on mod packs too, and then it'll just show that right here, because we've clicked on that little button right up there and selected the ones we want. And they've also added this wonderfully handy feature here, which let's go ahead and go to here, so we can see we got, looks to be one of my mods here. So if I go ahead and search through Sage, it's going to show that, whereas if I go over to just blocks, it's going to show 3, because I have a few there. So we now have the search feature at the top. Very nice. I've been wanting that for a while, and damn glad they added that in. So let's actually go ahead and jump into this world now, and I can show you guys the GPS and text stuff they've added today as well, which is pretty damn awesome. And alrighty, here we are in game, and I'm going to fly down here, land, and right in front of us we have our newest addition to actual blocks in the game. This is the, well, let's just click on it. It's a new text panel, and I've called this one left just to keep it different from the other ones. And if you go ahead and try to find it in here, you can see it's all the way at the bottom. It's a text panel, pretty simple and straightforward. You can click and drag it out. You can place it like this, but of course, remember, turn it like that. You can't place it. It's only placeable like this because those small edges are actually touching it. Pretty cool that they let you do that though, because it could lead to very interesting setups like this right here. Pretty cool. That's a little bit glitchy, of course, because it has a gap right there, but I'm assuming that's just nothing really to worry about. Let's go ahead and delete that. And I can also go ahead and show you that there is, oh, excuse me, seems to have fallen there, a small ship version over here. And that's these right here. Now, these screens themselves, when you first go ahead and place them down, as I'm going to do right now, and we'll rotate it around and place it like that. There we go. And you go up to it and press K. When I originally heard about these, I thought it was going to be like, you know, perfect for navigating your ship. You know, like if you want to put up little signs, it was going to be like half the size of this, and you just put it up on the wall and it'll say, ship to the left, and you can do little text asterisks, or arrows with little, you know, dot, 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 and the arrow. Unfortunately, you can't do that, because the text on these doesn't actually show up on the screen. Maybe we'll see that in the future. But for right now, it's just basically this. You get these options right here. You get the title, which at first you're like, what's title matter? It matters because once you get in there. So it also is useful to name this so people will know what it is. I have a sneaky suspicion these monitors will actually show text in the future. At least I'm very hopeful they will, and I'm very hopeful we'll also get font control. That way we can scale up and down the font on them. But for right now, you can go ahead and just name the title whatever you wish, and then click on the Show Text panel. And see, whatever you wish is now at the top. It's a title that the whole screen gets while it's open, and you have this big area here that you can type in. And of course, you can also do Control V's in here and copy it, and then keep on going. Unfortunately, right now the text does not wrap, as I've just now gone off the side of the screen. I can now jump down and just keep pasting that in. And let me go ahead and really quickly check to see if there's a scroll bar. I'm pretty sure there's not. Oh, yep, there is a scroll bar. So right now you can even have a scroll bar, so you can have huge bulks of information just stored on these. So I think one of the main idea, oh, and if you, text is too long, do you want to truncate? Oh yes, please. So I pressed escape there to try to exit, and you see it actually did truncate the text. So that's pretty cool that they actually have a limit, which helps me think that they are indeed going to display the text on screen. Now, if I go ahead and take ownership of this block, it also unlocks this access type thing here. Remember, you have to have ownership of the block, or at least have it shared with you, to be able to access this here. So you can say, owner only, so only you are going to be able to go up to it and press K and access this. You can have it set to read only, so people will be able to open it and only read it. A read write only, or read write by faction at least. Everyone read only and everyone write only. It's very, very cool. It's got pretty much everything you need. And Jesus Christ, there's a little glitch when I mouse over these. You hear the sound there? Oh boy, oh boy. Anyway, only owner, and just to prove that only owner thing works, we can go ahead and click that little arrow right there, add enemy AI thingy-majig. That's just a feature that's been for a while, but it doesn't actually work. And then we can set it to that dead NPC, and now you can see I can't access any of this. Even though it's everyone read write though, you'd think I'd be able to go up to and press oh, there we go. I can go up to it and press T on the keyboard, and because it is set to be, wow, why are you asking if I can truncate? I shouldn't be able to edit this text. Okay, yeah, whatever, and then we go back, save or changes it. I must have left it on everybody read write. Let's go ahead and just double check that really quickly that I did make that folly. Yeah, everybody read write, but if I had left it on everybody read only, I would only be able to read it. And just to demonstrate that, I've gone back, made a new one really quickly. I'm going to say owned by that AI again, and there we go. And it's set to, well, it should have been set to, yeah, everybody read only. Let's go ahead and check it again, though. It seems like every time we save it, it's unfortunately, when we set it to the enemy faction, it looks like there might be another little bug here. When it's set to the enemy faction, it automatically switches over to everybody. Yeah, it switches over to everybody read write, even though it should be just still set to everybody read only. So it might be a thing just because I'm adding it to a player that's dead. That could be what's happening there. Anyway, let's moving on from these, and I'll just go ahead and just show you the small ones on the small ship again. I just made this little thing here that I thought was pretty cool. These do actually work without power, which sort of makes sense because you can imagine you're going into the screen and plugging into it with your suit, so it's draining power. But of course, it's not like the program block that we have here, which of course you can't use without power. As you can see the red line around it, pretty cool. But yeah, I just wanted to show that you can make some interesting stuff with these tiny little single block screens. Pretty cool. Moving on from that though, you might have noticed something over here while we were poking at this screen here, that I had a lot of text in here. But one of the things you can do is you can see right here at the very bottom there is a GPS thing. The actual GPS, whatever Sage, start, whatever, it's the naming code. So I can do a Control-C on that, because remember you can Control-C and Control-V everything in this game. And then I can go up to my GPS tab right here. And you can see that we got two things right here. That's because I think one of them is, actually I'm not sure why exactly those are showing up there. They should not be. I would not expect them to be. One of them might be because of what I have in my clipboard. So I can do, well, one of them is probably because it's one I just saw. Another one's probably, I don't quite know why they're both showing up there. It does actually show you the stuff though that you've recently seen in chat and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So if somebody's sending you a chat message, which I'll show you in a minute, those will show up here. So that must be what some of these are. Maybe it's because I just saw that in a chat a few seconds ago, and it stores whatever you've recently seen. I believe it was for either 30 seconds up to 3 minutes. A bit of a range there. Hey, Sage here from the land of the future past. Look at the description right there. It tells you right where you saw it from. Pretty cool stuff. Anyway, back to the not actual, well, no, the past. But you get the point of it. It'll store it for a little bit. That way if somebody sends it to you, you don't have to instantly come into here and add it to a new point for the GPS system, which is what I'm in at the top right, you can see. Now, what we can do, though, to ensure we're making a new GPS coordinate from what we want to be making, we can do the new from clipboard. Because I Control-C'd it, I can now do a Control-V, and it should create that thing. That's what it should be creating, because I just copied that from here, right? In here, show text panel, that whole thing right there, GPS, Sage start, yes, okay. Might be being a bit more finicky than I remember. Yeah, now we just have that one. So I can go ahead and do new from clipboard. It must just be showing up here like this. Anyway, we can do show on HUD. That's really weird. I guess we've just made it. Because we Control-C'd it came in here, that was showing up, but it was grayed out. As soon as I did show on HUD or fiddle with it at all, it must have become real. And if I do show on HUD, you can see it shows up down there. Unfortunately, the show on HUD thing's a bit finicky, as I have example 1 out there. If I go to GPS and go ahead and try to say show on HUD, it's still there. I go to GPS again and turn off show on HUD. You can see we can go back to that setting, it's definitely off, yet it's still there on screen. The way you create these GPS coordinates, by the way, and get them so you can Control-C and Control-V them is pretty simple. Press K, go to the GPS tab all the way at the top right. You go ahead and say new from current position. It'll create one with your name and a number after it. Of course, you can create a few more, but it'll be stocking them up. You don't want to do that. I can delete it, of course, at the very bottom. But you can click on it, and now you can see we have all the information on it. If you want to share that to somebody, you simply do copy to clipboard. You can then go, of course, to communications, broadcast it to a certain person or wherever, and then paste it in there. Anybody else can grab it. And of course, if you were at the GPS thing, if somebody else has said something, it'll usually show up in here, which I can demonstrate by going into the comms again. SageCam, got SageCam over here. Just had it send a message, as you probably saw. I can now go ahead back to GPS, and you can see EX2 has now shown up there. And of course I can do the show on HUD, and now it's a real thing. When I turn off show on HUD, it just goes white instead of gray, because of course, like I said, gray will disappear after a little bit of time. And you can see example 2 is way out there. Of course, the benefit of this is if you find an ore deposit or something like that, or you have your own secret base, you don't necessarily have to have an antenna or a beacon or something marking it. You can now just have this stuff set up. So, hey, I just found ore. It's at these coordinates. I'm sharing it in our faction chat. Everybody go ahead and really quickly add that. It's going to be our mining asteroid now. Amazing, amazing time saver, and a pretty damn cool update, even if at first glance it seems pretty simple. It's just really nice to have. The only thing I would request when it comes to the GPS is that we actually have a way to tell the GPS without having to do the new from current position to create one. Because that does get a bit annoying when you're like, oh, I want to share this position, but I don't want to really bookmark it. I just want to get my friends over here right now, and they don't know where I am. It's a bit annoying to have to do that every time to share it. Bit annoying, but not too bad, frankly. Anyway, guys, that's it for this update. It's pretty awesome. Again, got our tech stuff here and all that. Got our GPS stuff in. Hopefully in the future we'll actually be able to scale up the text in these things as well. Oh, yeah, right, that's the enemy-owned one. And hopefully the text will actually show up on those screens, because it can be very useful to have text on those screens to direct people around your larger ships and be able to, well, just get them about and say, hey, if you're reading this, you're in trouble, without them actually clicking on it. You get the point. Pretty cool stuff, though. Anyway, guys, thanks a bunch for watching. I hope you enjoyed this update and found it informative. And I will talk to you guys next time. Ta-da!